All right. Woo!
Yay!
Okay, thank you once again for being a part of the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma. We have Cynthia, we have Linda, we have Kimberly, and then our special guest I'm going to introduce in a few minutes. This is a Christian-based talk show, and we love to have you to come on the show if you'd like to. Check me out at elmatalkshow.com and be a part of such a great show that we just like to bring those that are not known to us and make them known to you all as well. Okay, since this is a Christian-based talk show, one of my favorite scriptures is, being confident of this very thing, that he which begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. That's Philippians 1:6. So we still have a lot of work to do because all of us are still living. Now, my motivational thing is, in order to succeed, you must first believe that you can. And that is so true. So you have to believe that you can. All right, tonight we have a special guest. And I met this young man at Enterprise. And I met two good men just going to get my vehicle. And I was getting upset because they had me standing outside waiting and everything. And then Jamell,
Yes, ma'am.
he said, hey, ma'am, if you ever want your car fixed or something like that, you were saying about Billy,
Right,
what, Billy.
Mechanic.
Yeah. And he said, if you ever have a problem with your car, this man is the one. And I was thinking, gosh, I could have him on the show, Billy on the show. And so anyway, he said, yeah. So Billy gave me his card and I talked to him about the Talk of Life talk show. And he said, yes, I'll be on. Then Jamell, which I thought was saying James, I done gave him a new name because his handwriting, I thought it said James. And so he said, well, I also have a number. I said, well, you can be on the show too. So we have him tonight. And this is Jamell Grandberry. And he has his own nonprofit called As Fathers We Unite. So tonight we're going to find out about this, because when I heard the word father, it caught my attention because we need a lot of good fathers out there. And then I asked you, did you know Merville? Merville is one of my co-workers, and he works with the Fatherhood Coalition at the Workforce Solution. And that's really why I asked you, did you know of him? Because that's his passion, is to work with fathers as well. So I might need to get you all hooked up together and everything, because that's one of his passions. I'm going to have him on the show as well. Okay, so tonight we're going to find out about, and he's a minister as well, and Minister Grandberry, we want to know a little bit about you, and his wife is here also. She's just a little shy. But anyway, we're glad to have both of you all here tonight with us. So let's look at, on your card you said, as Fathers We Unite, it's empowering people, enriching lives, and ending poverty, one family at a time. So tell us a little bit about your nonprofit organization.
Well, I started a nonprofit organization as Fathers We Unite. I'm a father of two, as well as I have stepchildren by my wife. And a lot of times fathers get bad rap.
Yes, they do.
Sometimes justly, sometimes unjustly. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to start a business first to help fathers access their parental rights. Fathers who had some, baby mama drama going on. Fathers who had some issues about seeking their rights. I wanted to help them. And so when I initially started the nonprofit, it was about only helping fathers. But as I prayed about it, as I talked to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ about it, I came to a halt and I said, I want to help everybody. I want to help
that's good.
Men, fathers. I want to help women, mothers, and I want to help children. And so I said, as fathers, we unite. As men, we have to take the lead.
Yes.
We've been called to stand in the forefront and be strong men for our families and for our children. And so it's our duty, it's our job not only to lead, but to unite.
Yes.
And we have to do that first in our household. Then we can go out. You
wait a minute, say that again. It starts where?
It starts in your household.
Good.
It starts in your home.
It starts in the household. Okay.
Yeah. And so if we can lead properly in our house, then we can go out in the community and be strong men and change lives as well. Yes. And so you know, that's the reason I started this business, is to help people in the community, people who have financial issues, people who have mental health issues. We don't talk about that a lot of time in the Black community.
No, we do not.
But we struggle from mental health issues just like any other race or ethnicity. And so our business is just about helping people, empowering people, enriching people's lives, giving to people so they can go out and be successful members of the communities, and then in return they give back to people and help people. And so that's kind of our overall goals and overall objectives.
So how long have this nonprofit been into existence?
Well, we were formed in March, March 10th, 2020, although I've been serving our community for a while. As a youth basketball coach, as a substitute, as well as working at summer day camp programs. And this is over the course of 10, 15 years, of course, but these are entities that I have served with. And so, you know, I've been working in the community. I've been doing these things for a long time. I have a heart for people. I have a passion for people. And so I said, you know, what better than to form this nonprofit and go out and be a representative and an advocate for the community and doing what we're trying to do.
Well, let me ask you this. When you first started this organization, even though, you know, did you seek God for it first, or did you just jump out there?
Well, I think in anything we do, we have to go to God in prayer, in submission, surrender, and obedience, and in service. Because, you know, we can have a will, what we want to do for our own lives, but only His will be done. And so we have to make sure we're moving according to that will, and we have to make sure that we're doing this God's way. And so this was something I talked to the Lord about. This is something I prayed about. This is something that I had dialogue with not only my pastor, but great ministers and other pastors that I really respect and look up to. And you know, after praying about it and listening, soaking up some game, as they would call it, I made the decision to step out on faith and start this nonprofit.
Okay, so you deal with a lot of fathers out there. Are they all Christians, or can anybody come into this organization whether they are Christians or not, or you just have Christians only?
Well, I believe you talked about one of your favorite scriptures, and I like that. But one of mine is Matthew 28:19-20. And it says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I'm with you even to the end of the world." And so I think we get caught up in a bubble sometimes as Christians, if y'all don't mind me saying this, to where, you know, we only want to minister and witness to us. But it's not about that. You know, I have friends that are Muslims. I have friends that are atheists, and I take every opportunity to fully talk to them and explain Christ Jesus to them. And you know, the word of God says one plants, another waters, but it is God that gives the increase. And so our job is to go do the mission. Our job is to go tell people about Christ. And so to answer your question, I kind of rambled on that a little bit, but to answer your question, we take everybody. Christian.
Good.
But do understand, when you come into this organization, we're gonna talk to you, we're gonna give you some Jesus.
There you go.
I
like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I tell me about on the Talk of Life talk show. You're welcome to come on here, but hey, I'm a Christian, so you're not coming on to try to change my faith. Now, you're welcome to come in and do it, you know. But it's good because, you know, we have fathers that really want to be good fathers, and they have so many struggles trying to be, because like you said, with the baby mama drama thing, and that tears down, because instead of us trying to build up our Black men, it's like we tear them down some, you know? So how do you teach them with the baby mama drama? Because I know they get tired of that and everything.
Well, I say it like this. It's a case by case example. And so you have men out there that they have been negligent and, sorry or lazy as being fathers. And you have some women out there that have been bitter and allowing the kid to go with their father. And so, John 13:35 says, by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. And so, our example should be loving people despite of. My love shouldn't be contingent upon what you do. It's only because this is what Christ told us to do. And so, there's different situations. There's different reasons about those situations. He wrong, she wrong, they wrong. It can go either kind of way. But we want to focus in with our men and with our women and with our children about accepting responsibility for who you are. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I'm full of flaws. I've got some work to do. I've got some change to implement. I have people with this nonprofit organization who are my advocate, who are willing to help me do so. And I think the first way that change comes about is recognizing that there is a problem. I agree. And a lot of times our problem is we're in denial so much. Or at least let me not point the finger, but for myself. For a long time, I was in denial about who I was, what I had become, the things that I was doing. The change did not come until I said, you know what? Jamell is wrong. Jamell has to go change. Jamell has to submit, surrender, and give it to God. And once you do that, the manifestation process of our growth, of our sanctification process, it begins to take out. But it can only happen once we recognize there's a problem when we change solely as individuals.
And see, and that's good, because you said that when you recognize it was you. See, a lot of time we don't want to recognize that we are the problem. We always want to look at somebody else and blame them and say, well, this is the reason why they're like this. But when you start taking on responsibility, I teach my sons that when you start taking on responsibility and ownership of saying, hey, it was me. They got that commercial that comes on and tickle because all the kids come in and they say, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And the daddy just looking at with I think it was the tie. They all said it wasn't me. But like you said, you had to take on ownership and your responsibility and saying, hey, I was wrong. And I think that helps with a lot of things. If we would do that, self-examination is good. When we can say, hey, it was me. Even in my marriage, a lot of time I would cover up a lot of stuff and blame it on my husband. I always wanted to blame it on him. It's him. But when God started really working with me, he said, no, it's you. It's you that's causing a lot of this. And I had to start owning up to that, because we want to make sure that, hey, I don't want to miss any of my blessings being saying that it's him all the time. Even when he would say it would be me, I get mad, but he would be telling the truth. But a lot of time it is, I worked with, sometime I would go to some of the events with the fatherhood program, and Merville is very good with this. Hi, Merville, I'm sending a shout out to you. He would work with different men, and then he would bring in the fathers and stuff, and they would recognize the fathers at the this meeting, and they would give out shouts where the fathers, how far they come along with their kids. It was a beautiful program that they would do, and he would have, and I think he did like 3 men, that they helped with and everything, so that people would stop calling them deadbeat dads. Did you hear a lot of that? The deadbeat dads, because they are not taking on their responsibility. They don't want to pay child support, and all of that. So do you, talk about all this in your, as Fathers We Unite?
Well, let me firstly say, I have 2 children who I pay child support for. And let me say this. The way to conquer families, the way to conquer a woman or man is by division and deception. And so, a lot of people, women and men, have been fed this kind of bad mindset. I don't need him. I don't need her. Or they did this.
I don't need a man.
Yeah, I don't need a man.
I don't need a woman. I don't need,
And that's, that's where it comes from. And so, we've heard and we've listened to all type of things and types of stories, deadbeat dads, sorry baby mamas. It's always an attack on each other. But what we want to do with our organization is to show people that you have to look in the mirror and you have to change.
Yes.
That's first of all. And then within that change, you have to grow and you have to love.
Yes.
And I seen a post on Facebook, a lady posted that she was, having issues with her baby father. And she just wanted him to understand that it's not about their personal issues.
Right.
It's about the child.
Okay.
And as fathers, we unite, grown folks don't have grown folk stuff. But when it comes to the children, it's about the growth and the betterment of them. And so I think that we have to come together. That's why I chose the latter half of our organization as, we unite. Because we've got to come together and love each other, loving God first, loving ourselves, and then loving each other. And once we do that, it doesn't become a blame game. It's her fault. It's his fault. He wrong, she wrong. It becomes an ownership game. And once we take that ownership, then we can learn and grow in a relationship, in a co-parenting type of environment. But if we don't change and if we don't learn from each other, I love what you're doing with your talk show, because you say anybody can come on. But I'm gonna talk to you about Christ, and we can have a dialogue and a conversation. But we have to learn to listen. And once we can listen to each other, I might not disagree with I might not agree with Miss Elma. Miss Elma might not agree with me. But if we can come to the middle and kind of connect, we can get past those disagreements.
That's right. There you go.
Next thing you know, we'll be kicking it next week, loving on each other. But
and still didn't even agree on what we agreed. But we agreed to disagree and still be friends. There you go. I like that. That's the type
of love.
That's it.
That we're trying to put out into the community.
That's good.
You don't always have to agree.
Right.
You do not always have to have a kind of, love infested relationship, but we want that love, and we want you to understand in a disagreement there's dialogue.
Right.
And through that dialogue we can come to, hey, we agree to disagree, but I still love you, sister.
Yes.
We can agree to disagree, but I still love you.
Yes.
Brother. And I think that's what we're trying to implement with these families.
And so with the men, is it, I mean, do you have, I know you say you do women too now, right?
Right.
Okay, so do you have women on your team as well, or is it just?
Yes, I have my beautiful, lovely wife as we see sitting to the side. And we also have people that we work with in the community that are women as well. And, one thing about it, Miss Elma, I love the Lord as you see things come together, as you see things, manifest over a period of time. But, men and women, we are born different. We come out the womb different. And so
even though some of us try to change it, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's another talk show right there.
That's another talk show, but that's right. But we are different.
We come out different, and there's nothing wrong with different. But when there becomes division because of the difference, that's when it becomes a problem. And so just because we're different, I think that we have to have dialogue. We have to come together. I got to know your faults. I got to know your good parts. You got to know my faults. Know my good parts, so we can meet in the center line halfway.
Okay, did you have a question?
I have several questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She got several questions.
The first question, I admire what you're doing. And I also admire the fact that you found out who you are.
Thank you.
Instead of, you going around playing that game that I'm this and I'm that. But I like that part.
I like that too.
Okay, my question is to you is, number one, how long did it take you to find yourself and make yourself at peace with yourself so you can go and help others? The second question is, what age range do the kids come in? And you said also that you have like MHMR. Okay, do you have a program, or do you have a particular person that will see the client, or and on a pro bono basis, or are they you'll send me somewhere, and then when I get there they say, oh, that'll be $100, and you looking upside their head like, okay, Brother Jamell didn't tell me it was going to be $100. So do you have everything in place where someone needs help and you can send them to that person, or else you call that person, or someone is a friend of yours and you call that friend and say, hey, this person, this woman, or this male, or even kids, do they go to therapy as well? Because when you're going through a divorce, a child, we sometimes forget about the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
We sometimes forget about the child.
Yeah, we do.
And we just concentrate on us.
Right.
But it's not about us, it's about this child, because we brought them into this world.
Right.
And we're here to protect them.
Right.
And to me, I don't care how old they get. That's still my child,
Still my
and I'm
baby.
going to help
That's
them
right.
out.
I know you're
But
right.
so my question is, through all of this, do you have help to help you, to help the others?
Well, I like that question, and I want to go in depth with it. We're working on partnerships. I'm
Okay.
going out
That's
to
good.
different entities. You mentioned MHMR.
Mhm.
I think you mentioned TWC.
Mhm.
We're working on some partnerships with these type of companies
Right.
Yeah.
that have more experience
Mhm.
in their specific field of
Yes.
knowledge, what they're doing. Because like I said, we're kind of a broader organization. We want to take care of everybody and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But in that, we're not going to be able to meet every
Everybody-
need.
yeah, that's
Right.
true.
But partnerships with different kind of agencies and entities, I think go a long way. And
Right.
so I
Mhm.
think you mentioned, well, Jamell didn't tell me it was going to be $100. Well, we're
Yeah.
working on some programs to where financially the organization covers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to go in depth about that
Right.
at a later date as I
Right.
solidify these
Mhm.
partnerships.
There you go.
And as we have more documentation fully written out.
Mhm.
But you asked another question about the
The
kids.
age, the age
Right,
group.
the age.
Yeah.
I believe, of course, you can't have a 6-month-old coming to our program.
No.
But I think around the age between 5 and 17
Right.
is what we're kind of targeting
Mhm.
into kids, because at that age, at 5, they developing, they trying to play,
Yes.
play sports,
Right.
they becoming
Right.
active.
Mhm.
And so I believe at 5 to 17, that kind of age group is a good age group for them to come in. We also have a guy that played overseas, and he does training
Mhm.
at our
Oh,
facility. And so we already have kids there that are playing basketball, that are learning life skills. We have life group programs.
Oh, that's good. You have
kind-
life skills.
Life skills,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right.
And because, I think one thing that, I was taught as a young age is, you need to go to college, get a degree, get a field of work, come out and do it. And that's a good plan.
Mhm.
But we stopped teaching our kids. My father said when they came up, they was teaching them, get you a trade. Ain't nothing
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with being a plumber.
That's
every time
right.
working
Or
30
carpenter.
carpenter,
Right.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
electrician. I
Right.
got a friend of
Yes,
mine, an
yes.
electrician. He makes
That's
so
true.
much money.
Oh,
I said, I'm in
yes.
the wrong business. You know what I'm
They
saying?
make a lot of money.
And so I think we have to. I think there has to be an equilibrium there, and there has to say, sure, if you want to go to college and pursue
That's
your
right.
education, God bless
If
you.
not-
Let us help you. But if not,
Yeah.
we have some other trades.
That's right.
I have a CDL myself.
Right.
Yes.
And so, I drove buses and trucks for a little
Yes.
while. And so just having that to fall back
Yes.
on in
Right.
case time, life is life is hard.
Yes.
Things happen. And
Right.
so you always want to have a skill or a trade to fall back on. And we always want to teach the individuals that's in the families that's in our program, don't box yourself in.
Mhm.
Right.
You have a whole host of things that you can go do
Right,
or accomplish.
Right.
Okay.
And that's what we do too. Like you said, college is good, but college is not for everybody.
Right.
So you have to have something for them to fall back. And that's what we do even at the workforce. We have different kind of training that they can go through.
Right.
The CDL, like you mentioned, or the welding,
Right.
and they make good money out there doing that. So if you
Yes,
feel
they
like
do.
college is not for you, we do have other trainings that you can go to at the workforce solution for Tarrant County. But like you said, now, do you all have classes and training through this now, or you still working on that?
We're actually still working on that.
Okay.
I've solidified 2 guys. One of them has a doctorate degree
Okay.
in education. Another one has 2 master's degrees,
Mhm.
and he actually worked for the police department for a while.
Okay.
And so these guys are ministers as well,
Mhm.
and they have accomplished a lot in life as far as their degrees,
Mhm.
as far as the places that they work,
Okay.
and they've made some outstanding partnerships as well as far as on the ministerial side.
Mhm.
And I believe bringing that into our organization will allow people to see the growth, because they weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth, so to speak. They went out and they worked hard.
Yes,
And
yes.
they'll tell you they had some sleepless nights. They had some
Yes.
heartaches and some headaches.
Yes.
But through it all, God still provided.
Yes.
He kept them.
Yes, he will.
He's a keeper.
Yes, he is.
He kept them, and then they were
Yes.
able to go on and accomplish great things.
Mhm.
And so to answer your question, we do have life group classes.
Good.
And I was talking to a guy yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and he struggled with loss of family members.
Okay.
And so I think especially in this time is key, Miss Elma,
Mm-hmm.
to not forget about the people that are dealing with loss.
Yes.
Loss of loved ones and
Good
family
point.
members. That is some of the most hurtful stuff
Yes,
that we can
it
go
is.
through in life. And I think having a gathering kind of like this with people that are going through some similar things, people that have lost mothers and fathers and nieces and nephews that can tell you about that hurt, talk to you about that hurt, and say God is going to keep you and He's going to bring you through, just to keep you going day to day. Because sometimes we need that encouragement. And so life groups
are really good.
Right, life groups and groups to kind of bring us together and kind of get around like-minded people that are going through similar stuff that we go through. I think is helpful as well.
So do y'all do this at your church, or do you bring the youth together and do things with them, or bringing people in to talk to them?
Well, we have stuff that my church does on their own separately. That I'm involved with as well as a minister. And then I have our organization. My mother, she owns a foster care agency. And so our offices are located inside that foster care agency. So there's a big gymnasium. There's a buku office space inside the building. Wow. And so we have children that are there, like I said, that works out with a guy. And we have things that we are about to launch, programs that we are launching that will take place within our organization. I taught you about one. We want to be able to provide a program to feed these children. They're out of school. They've been out for a long time. It's, with the COVID. And then in summertime, parents have to work. Sometimes kids have to stay at home. And we want to provide a program to where, they don't have to worry about eating that day. Mom and dad don't have to worry about feeding them. And so I'm in the process of working on several different grants that provide the money and that provide the entity and funding to go out and do that, to be able to provide them with that. And that, of course, will be free of charge to the community and the kids as well. And so we're big on philanthropy work. We're big on being able to give. But of course, ain't nothing free. And
I hear you.
You
need some help on something.
Yeah, we have to have the proper proper money to do so.
But did you check the food banks and see? And also, Miss Grandberry is your mom?
Yes, ma'am.
I know Miss Granberry.
Miss Granberry is my mom.
Yes.
Let me give her a plug real quick. She has a foster care agency called the Grandberry Intervention Foundation.
Yeah. Where are they located?
Off Miller Avenue and Mansfield Highway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you know her, huh?
I know Miss Granberry. Yeah.
Gosh, in this a small world. Linda know everybody, I tell you. Well, good. So with her foster kids, do you go in and talk to them too, or what?
I've been a PAPH trainer. It's called physical aggression, physical holds. I've been a trainer for over 15 years. That's one of my side hustles, a side job, as we would call it. I train foster care parents and employees on how to properly restrain out of control children.
Oh, that's good.
And so that's a class that you have to go take by the state, and they give you a certificate and you're able to teach that. So I've been doing that for about 14 years. Taught CPR first aid for a while, but it was too demanding, so I let that certificate go. Yeah, but she has provided services to this community for over 20-something years.
Wow.
And I have worked with the kids. I just actually went out maybe not even 6 months ago, and I did a kind of, we call it, a meeting, as far as with the kids, and I'm helping the kids and the foster parent. They were going through a tumultuous time, and the kid was threatening the foster parent, and so just kind of de-escalating that whole situation, and kind of being there for the foster parent and there for the kid as well. And so I've worked with her organization for probably about 13, 14 years.
That's good. That's when you said that, I thought about this program that I used to work with years ago. It was called PAL, Preparation for Adult Living. And they dealt with state kids. And what we would do, we would take them on trips like to Walmart. We would give them $100 and they would have to go in there and buy stuff that they could take to their apartment.
Okay.
And excuse me, when they turned 18, they was able to go out on their own, but we was teaching them how to get jobs and how to write resumes and all that.
Yeah.
But they was kids that had been abused, and the state had tried to bring them in and stuff.
Yeah.
So I can relate with your mom doing the foster care stuff.
Yeah, and see some of the stuff these kids have been
Oh,
through.
man.
It's horrible.
And some of them tried to
hard.
commit suicide
Yeah.
Right.
because they had been abused in the foster care homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked at an emergency shelter
Mhm.
for a few years back in 2008, and I witnessed a girl slit her wrist.
Oh,
So when you got to go in and look at their blood and clean it up, and you know,
Man.
this baby is hurt. You know,
Mhm.
she has, she was emotionally abused, and she has some other things that have been done to her that you couldn't have fathomed happened to
Wow.
a child. And so, the work is, the word of God says the harvest truly is plenteous,
isn't it?
but the
laborers
laborers
are
are
It's
few.
you.
Yeah.
And so it's a high risk, low reward type of business.
Yes, it
And
is.
and it's a work that you have to be diligent in, and that you have to have a passion about
You have to.
go out. But I tell you one thing, Miss Elma, it's great to see a child. I had a child. Give you a little quick story if you don't mind. I had a
Go
child
ahead, yeah.
that was, he was a Crip. He was a gangbanger.
Wow.
And every time I walk in the door, I have to restrain this child. And, long story short, I asked him, I said, man, why you acting fool every day? He said, because that's our one-on-one time. I said, huh? He
That
said,
was your one-on-one time?
yeah,
with
his
him.
Wow.
thinking was that's our one-on-one time to get together and spend some time before you come in here and go to work and deal with all the
Wow.
other kids.
Wow.
And so just somebody taking out some time with him, even though it was physical,
Yes.
Right.
even though it was an aggressive mind state,
Right.
just somebody dealing with him every day
Right.
Yeah.
consistently,
Right.
made him feel good. So I said, I tell you what, man,
Mm.
you don't ever have to worry about me. I say, when I come in, I'm gonna talk it over my boss. First 15 minutes of my day is yours. Whatever you
Wow.
want to talk about, whatever you want to deal with. And so I think he stayed there another 3 to 4 months, and they moved him to a foster home.
Mhm.
And this kid got tremendously better. He went on to
Good.
college. He got a degree, played
wow.
college football. Now he's making more money probably than me and you put together. You know what I'm saying? And so it's good to see those kids grow and go be something.
Yes, it is.
So it's good to see the fruit that you were able to put out there.
Right.
But do you still hear from him now?
I haven't heard from him in years. It's probably been about 7 or 8 years. The last time I heard, he said, I just want to say thank you.
That's good.
He just said, I just
And
want
that
to say
should make
thank
you
you.
feel good. Because even when I was
Right.
working with the PAL thing, and some of those kids, all they want is love.
That's it.
They've been abused, so they've been sexually molested by their foster parents that they
Yeah.
thought was their foster parents,
Right.
And then, when I'm sitting there talking to some of them and they getting ready to move on, they sharing with me, the reason I'm here
Mhm.
is because of my behavior. And then some of them, they was giving them medication to make them act crazy. When the people would come into their home,
Right.
they would give them medication so they would act up, because the more medication they act up,
The
the more money
money
they would get.
Right.
See?
Right.
And I used to, are you serious? They would tell me that. They said, well, they would make us act crazy when the people come out and do their, evaluation.
Evaluation.
And they would get more money. See, some of these people was getting nice homes. They would build them. If they had 5 kids, they would build them like a 4 or 5 bedroom home.
Right.
Oh,
They
wow.
would give them Suburbans
Right.
Wow.
to ride around, or vans.
And special vans.
Yeah,
for
they would give them
special
all that.
needs.
And I enjoyed the program, but every weekend, matter of fact, I made almost much money working there than I was on my regular job. But what I enjoyed most of, it really made me really be thankful that my children didn't have to grow up like that.
Amen.
You see these
Right.
kids, and it's a blessing that you're working with fathers, because a lot of fathers, we look at them as they drop the ball.
Yeah.
And here you have some, and some of them are deadbeat dads.
Right.
They are not doing it. I work at the, I used to go down and do workshops at the Union Gospel Mission, and over at the Presbyterian shelter.
Okay.
And I would be sitting there talking to some of the guys, and these guys had degrees.
Yeah.
A lot of them was, I even had ministers that was there. Some of them was on drugs and they, lost everything. But some of them just wanted to be homeless because they didn't want to pay child support.
Wow.
I mean, and I was like, are you serious? Well, I give her money and she out there getting her nails done and her hair done and the kids walk around here looking like baby kids. So I just quit everything and I'm home. I'm serious. This was the men telling me this, and I'm like, you want to live like this to keep from taking care of your children. These are your children that you got, you know. And that's what I would hear, and it would just hurt me because here I am thinking, your kids are left behind, like, you know, your mother. One thing about it, the dad might leave, but the mother gonna be with those kids. If she's a good mother, she's gonna be there with those kids. Right. And you see that a lot today. You see a lot of these teenager girls that's left with the kids. Yeah. And then the guys are gone.
Right.
You know, so I'm pretty sure you've dealt with a lot of that too, with the teenagers and some of them got 4 or 5 babies. They say, that's making me a man, you know, because I got 4 or 5 kids. Yeah. You know, I know you done dealt with a lot of that, and they're not taking care of them. And then the grandparents are the one now taking care of the kids. And, you know, so I know, I'm pretty sure you are dealing with this, trying to get them to see that just because you're out here having all these babies is not being, you know, and then they have to put them on welfare. They put them on food stamps or getting out, whatever help that they can get. Right. You got to deal with that. So I'm pretty sure, you know. Yeah,
that's something we've encountered, and you know, I tell people, it doesn't make you a man to be able to make a baby. What makes a man is being able to take care of that.
Take care of.
And you know, that they're taken care of is emotionally, financially, and spiritually. You know, and so as fathers, we can get in this mindset, because I've heard it before. You know, I ain't paying her nothing.
Yeah,
you know, I go live on welfare, so I know this kind of mindset that you're talking about. And you know, the system is divisive. It's a system that divides, and I just wholeheartedly believe, you know, even when you look at it as far as the housing, so they'll put these women on housing, and they'll tell you, you know, we got your housing, you know, you and the kids, we're gonna put you on food stamps. We better not see that man over here now. Wow. We're going to put him on child support.
Right.
Okay.
And he can't stay in the house with them. He
cannot stay in the house with
them. He's not supposed to. No, they're not supposed to. But you have them that they sneaking them in.
They do that. Right. They do that.
And then they even marry, and they still saying that they're not married.
Right. You're right. And so in the system, you know, like I said, I think it was not created, you know, for us to grow and prosper. I believe it was created to kind of keep you down in the mind state of this darkened mindset of, you know, I ain't, and I'm not worthy to go do anything. But like I talked to you about earlier about change, once we see that there is change, and once we begin to put Christ Jesus first in our life, you know, then all these other things will be added to us. Us being great fathers, us being great
teaching
mothers.
them that,
And so I think it starts from there.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Have you ever ran into, you mentoring a child, and then you do y'all go to the homes, or do they come to the place where y'all have y'all business?
Well, right now they come to the place where we have our business, because you know, now I tell you, the foster care agency, they go out to the home. They have people that's allocated to go out, access where the people are living, what's going on inside the home. With our nonprofit organization, we have an office building, and we want the people to come in. I know right now it's been kind of slow because of COVID.
And COVID-19.
Right, COVID-19, but people are starting to get out. You know, we urge you to get out safely, but people are starting to get out and seek the much needed help that they
The question I want to ask, have you ever ran into a parent, a male, the father of a child that you're mentoring, getting upset because you're in that child's life? Now, he's a deadbeat dad, and he comes around the house whenever, you know, he feels comfortable coming home.
Right.
But, you know, have you ever ran into a male that say, well, that's my son. What are you doing with my, you know, you must be messing with my, you know, my ex and stuff.
Right.
You know, that mama drama, daddy and all that.
Don't want you in their life.
You know, that definitely exists. I won't go to specific situations, but I will say this. I think with that type of situation, the best way to handle it is with respect and not
Right.
Yes,
Right.
You know, because like I say, I'm not here to step on anybody's toes.
Right.
You know,
right.
I'm just here to go do the work that God has called me
there
to do.
you go.
Right.
And so, you know, the best way that I try to handle hostile situations, so to speak, it's not with an iron fist, but it's with the love of Christ.
Right.
And that's good because I'm pretty sure they get a little jealous when they see that the kid is coming more toward you.
Yeah.
And then here's the daddy want to step into their life when now you didn't help them get up, or your organization helped them get up. I thought about that movie that I think it was Tyler Perry movie where when the Meet the Brown, whatever, when the boy ended up being the basketball player.
Oh, okay.
And then now the daddy wants to come in when he didn't want to help with the son when she was struggling getting him there.
Right.
But soon as he become a whatever basketball, whichever one, then he want to come up there and he want to take ownership.
Now that's my son.
That's my son now. You know, so that. And then the boy just moved on out the way, you know. But when we look at a lot of time in the Christian walk, if some of the boys, young men look at, my daddy wasn't there for me. Right. My daddy didn't have nothing to do with me. And then we're introducing them to Christ and saying, our Father. Yeah. And they looking at God as, if he's like this, I don't want him. You see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So that's something, you know, I'm pretty sure that you got to try to, because you look at it and say, man, my daddy raped me. My daddy did this to me. And my daddy was abusive to me, kept me in chains. You know, you hear these stories and then you introducing them to Christ and saying, our Father, you know, he created us in his image. And he's saying, no. I don't want that father. I don't want to even hear about him if he was like this. Right. You know, I've encountered that even being a co-pilot. I've encountered that talking to some people, even the girls that go through that, you know, when they've been abused by their daddy, and then you trying to introduce them to Christ saying, this is our father. I don't want that kind of father. You know, how do you entertain that part?
I can see that type of element. And I'll say this. Jesus said that while we were here, we will have trials and tribulations, but be of good cheer, because I go to prepare a place for you. Right. And so, you know, when you talk about a father or a mother hurting a child sexually or emotionally, that's some of the most horrific stuff and experiences that you can go through. But everybody got a testimony. Yes. And one thing that I know is God is our creator. He's our father. He's our maker. Right. You know, he's our help in a time of need.
Yes, he is.
And so I think, you know, explaining it to them and letting them understand that we know that you've been through some things. We know your father or mother have done certain things, but this is your father who loves you. Right. Who knew you before you came out the womb, no matter what. Yes. With bad experiences, with good experiences in valleys and in mountaintops, this is your father who will always be with you and never forsake you. And so I think when you get deep down into it and you give them some good old Southern theology, they begin to understand. Now, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time.
It takes time.
It takes time for them to heal.
You're right. And even talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it. Because some of them will start out, they won't, kind of like you said, and then gradually, if they begin to trust you.
They got to trust you.
How long? How long? What's the length?
I think it's different from child to child, person to person. Because, you know, with me, it may be a day. With her, it may be a week. With my wife, it may be a month. With you, it might be a year. With her, it may be 10 years. And so I think it differs from person to person. But I think if you stay consistent, and you show that kind of love and compassion that we ought to show as Christians, eventually God will move and allow it to happen.
And that's basically with anybody, really.
Yeah.
You know, you show them some kind of love. He said, how would they know my disciple? By the love, by the love. And sometimes love is patience. Yeah. We have to have a lot of patience in building up a relationship with that child, making that child feel like, hey, I know you've been rejected. Yeah. I know you've been hurt. I know you've been scorned. But hey, I'm here. And it's just a little bit harder because if you are a girl, that's your you know, this is my daddy. Right. I want my daddy, but my daddy is abusing me. My daddy said, don't tell nobody that he's abusing me. And you dealing with this and you trying to be a father, and they reject you because my daddy did this to me, you know? Right. So you have to really get to know that, because you say you do women and children, so you got girls in your ministry too, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're knowing.
And I also have a daughter.
Okay.
And so, you know, I call her my little stinker poo poo. She heard it when I called her.
How old are your kids?
She's 7 years old. I got a 16-year-old son,
Uh-huh.
and I have a 17-year-old baby girl. Who's my heart and who's my world?
Okay, now you call her what?
I call her my stinker poo poo.
Okay. Well, okay, hey, stinker poo
Hey,
poo.
stinker
We
poo-poo.
sent a shout out to stinker poo poo.
She told me the other day, baby, I hate stop calling me that, but that's my baby. And so, I couldn't imagine.
Okay.
I mean, as a father, Lord forgive me, but I die behind my kids. You know what I'm saying? It is our job as fathers
to protect your baby.
Protect our baby.
Yes.
Right.
And so, that kind of deep emotional and sexual hurt, you have to go get some help. You have to have people that are willing to work with you.
Deep.
Yeah,
you gotta
deep
go
with
deep.
that.
I'm talking about some counseling, some therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
And 2-3 times a week.
Right.
Every week. And so I get exactly what you're talking about. And that kind of element is hard to deal with. But I think that you have people in this field, in this kind of philanthropy work that wants to give back, that wants to show people love.
Yes.
I think you have people like myself and other organizations that are willing to go out and take that kind of thing on.
And when you said you have a 17-year-old, and you're gonna want your 17-year-old daughter to have a good man in her life, right?
Yeah,
You're gonna want that.
My son's 16, but when she gets 17, absolutely. Or when she gets of age, I told her she got to, go to.
So how old is your daughter again?
My daughter is 7. My son is 16.
Oh, okay. So I thought you said your daughter was 17. I was like, wait a minute.
No.
Okay, so she still got a little time.
She still got a little time, right?
Okay, I can see you. Okay, your little stinker boo. Okay,
right.
So she's 7, not 7. Okay,
Yes,
but still, you're living before her. So this is going to be the only type of man she's going to look at is my daddy.
Right.
So when she looks into a man as she gets older, she's going to be a good example.
Yeah.
That she's going to go after. So you're building a good relationship with her.
Right.
So when she goes out there, she's going to be looking, I want me a man like my daddy. A lot of them say that.
Yeah.
Right.
I want a man like my daddy.
And I believe, a lot of times, Elma, we can say, don't do that or don't be that. But we have to show our children.
Yes.
I want to show my prayer to God is that, I can give my kids a lot. I want to give them finances. I want to give them mental support, emotional support. But the one thing, I called my mother probably a year ago, and I said, Mother, out of everything you've done for me, the one thing that I can thank you for and love you for the most is Christ Jesus for giving me that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
For teaching me that, for implementing that in me. And so, that's my prayer with my children, that they see the love of Christ and that they have a relationship with their Father. I'm the earthly father.
Right. But you want,
I want to have the relationship with our infinite, our omnipotent, our all-powerful God.
Right.
And so, if I can give my kids that and show them that,
there you go.
What I'm saying? I think that's what we should do as fathers.
That's right.
So have you ever ran into cutters?
Cutters?
Yes.
Yeah. I was telling you about the girl that I work with. She was in the restroom, and we said staff was like, "Well, where is she?" I won't say her name, but where is she at? She said, I think she went to the restroom. You always have to be careful with that girl, male element staff.
Right.
And so I called my boss and said, hey, she's in the restroom. She's locked herself in. What do you want me to do? She said, well, just continue to knock and continue to talk to her.
Right.
And I said, well, what are you doing in there? And she said, well, I'm about to slip my wrist.
Ooh.
Right.
And so I called my boss and said, hey, she just made a threat. She said, okay, well, at that time, since she's threatened to do something to herself, we have the authority to go ahead and go in.
Go in. Okay.
So when I went in, she was sitting there, both wrists cut open. I had to immediately call 911.
Right.
I had to put gauze on the cuts. And so, and this was a good girl. Loved the people that were in our program, loved other kids, loved the staff. She just had been through a lot. And emotionally, she was stressed all the way out.
Right.
And so I think when you're dealing with that, only thing that you can do is love them and have a fervent, a compassionate prayer to God saying, I need you to move, Lord.
Right.
I know you have a will and I know we on your time, but God, will you move?
Yeah.
Our petition, supplication
to
to God, I think in that type of situation, along with the love of Christ. That's
Yes.
what we have to kind of show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have to let them know that, hey, we love because he loves us.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have to see that love. You know, when kids are being rejected all the time and you try to show them love, it's hard.
It's rough.
It's really rough. And especially dealing with the young men because they already feel like they left behind.
Yeah.
They got so much to go through. They got to be, you know, like twice as what we as girls got to be. They got to show a little bit more, you know,
Yeah.
and everything. So building up their self-esteem is going to be, I think, a little bit harder
It
than,
takes time.
yeah, with a girl, you know, but
Right.
because you got to be a man. Then you get, oh, men don't cry.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
and
we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah. Yes,
Men
we
don't
do.
cry. That makes them weak if they cry, you know.
But I mean, that's what we were taught.
That's
growing
what we
up.
was
That's
taught
what we
that.
were taught. We men don't cry.
And men don't talk too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we don't.
We keep it bottled in.
You keep it in, man. That make you strong, man. You don't say nothing. You
go.
go and deal with the punches. You know, you got a lot of these young kids that's out there dealing with the peer pressure. You know,
Yeah.
bullying and all of that.
Yeah.
So do they talk about that in your? You mentioned that too, right?
We talk about it, but a lot of kids, what you begin to find out that are being bullied, they don't want to talk about it. The kids that are being bullied, the kids that have issues,
That's what I'm saying. They
Mhm.
want to hide
they
that.
want to hide
Right.
that. And so it's kind of almost, you know, you have to bring it out of them.
Yeah.
You have to go cautiously
Mhm.
because they've already been hurt. You have to go out of love.
And then they scared
Then they scared. You
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
element in it as well.
because they're gonna get beat up again if they
Right.
mention anything.
Right, by the bully.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we've dealt with that kind of stuff as well. And so, you know, but like I said, I think it's a work that you have to be diligent in. You have to be patient. You have to be loving. You have to be kind. And like you said, it's gonna take some time. It ain't gonna happen
No,
happen
no.
overnight.
I know our time is getting ready to close, but let me ask you this. How do you deal with the dads that's messed up? You know, they struggling too, trying to be a dad. Here you are bringing them in,
Right.
and they have no kind of communication with their children because
Right.
they don't, you know, and you know, they even have it now that you can sign your rights away and don't have nothing to do with your kids.
Right. Right. They do.
You know, so how do you all deal with the dads that's coming into the program and they want to change, you know?
Well, I think like I mentioned first, Miss Elma, it has to want to be a change.
Okay.
Because once you come and seek change,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of like the old drug addict that goes into rehab.
Okay.
They'll tell you when you get there, this rehab is contingent upon you, not the workers.
That's right.
Not how far
That's
you willing
right.
to go. How far are you willing to trust us? How much are you willing to give to
Yes,
turn over
yes.
a different type of leaf? And
Yes.
so that's what we deal with in the element with these fathers who have been hurt, who have given hurt.
Mhm.
And then there are a plethora of circumstances to why they're in the position that they are in. And one thing that we want them to do when they come to as fathers we unite, we want them to recognize that there is a need for change.
Yes.
And once there is the need for change, we can help them with the change, and we
Mhm.
can help them get the help that they actually need
Mhm.
to make the change effective,
Yes.
so that they can be the father that that son needs. They can be the father that little girl needs, and eventually one day that they can be hopefully that husband that
Yes.
that woman needs.
Right.
Yes.
And so that's what we're trying to do as fathers we unite for our men. We're trying to let them know, hey, mistakes don't ruin you. The ruin comes when you persist in those mistakes.
Right.
When you say, this is me and I'm gonna
Yes.
be bad, I'm gonna do this and I don't care what type, that's where it becomes wrong. But mistakes, people get knocked down
Mhm.
and they fall off that horse and they have to get back up.
Yes.
And let's be honest, we've all needed a helping hand sometimes. And if it wasn't from each other, it was from Christ. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we have all fallen short of the glory of God.
Yes.
And so failure, just as much as success, is a very eminent part of life. And so I believe that what we need to do as givers of love, of givers of our time, of givers to the people who are in need, we have to go show them love, and we have to go show them Christ.
Good, good.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
What would you say to our audience before we leave? We know that you are, as fathers, we unite, and this is Reverend Jamell Grandberry, This is his organization. We're going to have all this information at the bottom of the screen for you. But what would you give them some lasting encouraging word for fathers that are out there?
Well, what I would say to all the fathers is that, guys, it starts with us.
Yeah.
It starts with our love. It starts with us bringing people together. It starts with us showing people strong men, men of integrity, men of stature, men of love, men of kindness, men of peace.
Yes.
And once we begin to grow as men and to grow as fathers, then we can lead.
Yes.
We cannot become true leaders until we first learn how to follow. And so my advice would be to this man of not getting with organizations like mine, get around some strong Christian men and learn how to follow, and then so that you can become the leader that you need to become one day.
Right.
Amen, amen.
Amen.
But before we close, we're going to ask his wife to come. So we just want to show off his beautiful wife.
God bless you.
Come on. And you can just stand over there because we getting ready to close. Do you have anything you want to say?
I just want to say I'm proud of my husband. He's doing awesome work. He really does have a heart and passion for helping people, whether it's men, women, boys and girls. He really has a heart, and I'm just very proud of him.
And
I'm
that is so
excited to get to
good.
work with him.
I love it when a woman just, I want you to stand right behind. Just stand right behind. Because we have to have women that stand with our husband, behind, on the side, or whatever. And we're so happy that you are so, and that's encouraging words to him.
Right.
Yeah,
I know that boosts him a lot to know that you are there for him.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of time he probably leave you at home with the kids to go out and help. But that's what it's about.
Yeah.
We have to be able to go out and help one another, and we get our blessings back from helping one another. So, and maybe next time we have both of them on here as a newlywed couple of times and everything. See how it's been with you. How long y'all been married?
4 years.
4 years? Oh yeah, we're gonna have y'all on for newlywed. See how well y'all know each other and stuff. But anyway, thank you, Reverend Grandberry. I'm so sorry I was calling you James.
That's all right.
And everything. But he is the executive director of As Fathers We Unite, and empowering people, enriching lives, and ending poverty one family at a time. And you can also reach him as Fathers We Unite at gmail.com, 817-441-3973. And we'll have this information at the bottom of the screen. Thank you all both for taking the time out to be on our show. We have enjoyed it, and I have really enjoyed learning about fathers. And it's good to have fathers that, you know, you're taking out a lot of time to do this. And we want to encourage you. If you are a father and you have children, whether they're your stepchildren or foster children, you would love to contact Pastor Grandberry. I'm calling him Pastor Grandberry because he's pastoring over all of these kids. That's a job, pastoring all over. Not saying you're a pastor in the church, but you are really pastoring those flocks.
Yes, ma'am.
Those are your flocks in a sense and everything. Would you like to give a shout out to your church?
GCBC, the great. I say it again, the Great Commission Baptist Church. God bless you. We love you. Our pastor, Dr. Brown, is doing a wonderful work over on the southwest side of Fort Worth. We just yesterday, Miss Elma, our church and our pastor gave out $23,000 in scholarship funds to future children.
Awesome.
And so God bless you, Doc. We love you and we love our church.
Yes, and a shout out again to and I'm going to say they're on that side, but we as the Church Within International Ministry on this side for right now. But anyway, we appreciate you all for taking the time. I think you're doing an awesome job.
Yes.
And I thank you, wife, for being behind him and supporting him and your beautiful children.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
We need to support Black businesses.
Yes.
And this work that you're doing, getting businesses out there to the people and to the public, giving us a platform to be able to come on here and speak about what we're doing. God bless you, and we are indebted to you, and we thank you.
And if you know of some other Black businesses, please let me know so they can contact. We would love to have them on.
I definitely will. I have a couple friends that have sole proprietorships, and LLC, so I would definitely give them your contact information.
Because we never know how many black businesses out there, and I'm learning a lot of them. And Kimberly goes out and snatch them from everywhere, from authors and everything. So she's good. Kimberly up here is good about going out there and just bring them on in. And we want everybody to know, those that we might not know. So we want those known that unknown to you. We want you to be known. So Amen. Tonight you all heard again, as fathers, we unite with, I'm calling him Pastor because he's passed over his little father ministry, Jamell Grandberry, not James, y'all. That was me getting that. Okay. So thank you all once again. And remember, always watch the Talk of Life talk show with Elma every Monday, 8 p.m., Facebook and YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. And watch us. Tell somebody about the show. And again, if you would like to be on the show, contact me at elmatalkshow.com, or you can look me on Facebook, and I would love for you to come and be a part of this great show that God ordained. And with our beautiful co-hosts Kimberly, Linda, and Cynthia, and myself as the host, Elma. A shout out to Emmanuel and Carlos, our wonderful executive producers. May God bless you and keep you until we see you again.
Amen.